The views now on lockdowns and the economy from Fritz Ocampo, Chief Investment Officer of BDO. Fritz, great to have you with us on the final word. To bring down the number of infections, which could top 8,000 according to Octa by the end of the month, can the economy, in your view, afford a short-term, strict quarantine restrictions such as an ECQ or MECQ for, let's say, maybe 2 weeks?
Well, Rico, thank you for having me in your show. What we learned during the past year is when you have prolonged mobility restrictions, especially when you have a total lockdown of the economy, it just creates a lot of unemployed people, and we tend to worsen the problem. What we need to do right now is some strategic thinking. Definitely our major constraint right now is the number of hospital beds that we have. And more hospitals are reporting that they are near full capacity. So it's a major challenge. I don't want to be a policymaker right now. The balancing act that you have to do right now is saving lives against saving jobs or saving the economy. To answer your question, can we afford it? If we have to, then we will have to do it. But the shorter it is, the better for everyone.
So it is still a possibility because now we're going to have a curfew from 10 to 5 in the morning. So if the number of infections continue to rise, then the government could still decide on a stricter quarantine restriction for at least maybe 2 weeks, which could bring down the number of cases. But, you know, this whole year of lockdowns has really had a major impact on the Philippine economy. What are the bright spots? When are we likely to bounce back?
Well, what we have to focus on right now, Rico, is that the pandemic is a public health issue. And so everybody wants to reopen the economy. Everybody wants to get back to normal. But the main issue is controlling the COVID spread and accelerating the vaccine rollout. Unless we're able to do these two top of mind and priority issues, then all of our dreams of getting back to normal will become a distant dream. It will remain a dream. So we have to contain COVID, and we have to accelerate the delivery of the vaccines and start rolling it out in a more aggressive way. The sooner we do that, then the better it will be for our recovery, our reopening of the Philippine economy.
But it seems like we're having a difficult time containing COVID right now, maybe just like other countries around the world, in Europe and in the US. It's a difficult and tight spot that the government, the private sector, and the public is in right now. Because, I mean, we're seeing a loss of jobs. Businesses are hard up for cash.
Definitely. COVID doesn't listen to any of us. And therefore, decisions have to be made with science as the lead, with doctors as the lead. We have to follow the data. We have to learn from the experience, not only of the Philippine economy or the Philippine decision makers, but we also have to look at what's happening around us. What are our neighbors doing right? We have to follow the best practices. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. Everybody's on the same boat. So we have to do our best to learn from the data so that we don't repeat the same mistakes over and over again.
Indeed, you're saying the right thing, Fritz. We really have to learn the best practices from other countries and adopt it into our current COVID-19 response. You know, the micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises were really slammed and really hit hard over the past year. You know, they're basically the backbone of the Philippine economy, making up about 99% of employment. Where are they at right now, Fritz? Are they being helped? Are they helping rebuild the economy piece by piece?
You're right, Rico. You know, we have like 5.2 million MSMEs, both formal and informal. So the question is, how have they been able to cope, and what kind of assistance have they received? When you look at it, the proposed Arise bill of Representatives Joey Salceda and Stella Kimbo is still there in the back burner. The longer we prolong the pain of the MSMEs, the more people will lose their jobs. And if we prolong it too much, the scarring could be permanent. As the MSMEs shut down or downsize, more people lose their jobs. So we cannot talk yet of how they are rebuilding because they're still in pain. Up to this month, more and more companies have declared downsizing, meaning they're cutting jobs this late in the game. They need assistance and they need it now.
Yeah.
We cannot delay it anymore. Because if we assist them, then they'll hire their old workers back again, and these workers will consume. And that's what we need in our Philippine economy. We are a service-driven economy, and our driver of the economy is our household spending, our domestic consumption. And that has been hurt with the number of jobs that have lost. And many of our countrymen just decided to go back to the countryside, where at least they will not starve.
And briefly, just trying to look at the light of the end of the tunnel, Fritz, where are the opportunities in the economy amid this lockdown?
Okay, it's good. I mean, we have to focus on the hope, no?
Yeah.
The light at the end of the tunnel. So the first is what can drive us, what can create jobs. One is infrastructure spending. It has the most multiplier effect. That accounts for 1/4 of the national budget. That's number one. Number two are the MSMEs. And number three would be your tourism sector. So who travels around the world amidst the pandemic? The answer is nobody, right? So if we are to push domestic tourism, as Secretary Berna wants to do it, then we have to do or implement a central app, a central QR code that will make it easy for me or any Juan or Juana de la Cruz to move from, let's say, the metropolis to the beachside, okay? And then we impose capacity constraints in every defined domestic tourism. This is like 10% of our GDP. So the economists within the economics team have to focus on what drives our Philippine economy, what carries most weight, what has the most multiplier effect. And let's focus on that, on those growth drivers, so that we can get out of the hole at the soonest possible time.
Thank you so much for your insights on the Philippine economy. Fritz Ocampo from Banco de Oro.